Hi everyone, this is a webinar style video on our Signage digital marketing solution. This is an app that runs digital media on iPads or on large HD screens. Now, a quick reference here, Signage is a sales and marketing app that runs on the vablet content management platform. And what that means is that you'll be creating your Signage account on the same web-based console as our vablet content management system. What we're going to run through today is a quick product overview, creating a playlist, some tips on organizing your media, and then we're going to push it out to the device and show you what it looks like. Here's a quick overview of what this looks like. Essentially, you're uploading your media, which could be JPEGs, it could be movie files, it could be MP4s, to the web-based console, which is admin.vablet.com. And then you're going to assemble them into some sort of playlist. You might just run one video file, that's fine, or you might run video files and JPEGs intermittently. And what you do at that point is push them out to the device that's going to display it, whether that be an iPad or an iPod Touch that runs on a large HD screen. So this is perfect for waiting rooms, lobbies, restaurants, hotels. You can even stream live HTML, but we'll get into those options later. The first thing you need to do is set up an account. So visit admin.vablet.com and don't enter www, just admin.vablet.com. Since we're showing you how to create a new account, you're going to click Create a New Account. And this is a pretty standard form that you need to enter your basic information to start a new account. And then this information below is going to be your login information the next time you visit the admin console as the administrator of the account. Now, the first screen was really more about setting up your username as an individual administrator on your account, and this second screen is really more about setting up your company information. The information on this screen will need to be entered on each device in order to authorize it with your online account. So it's best to replace the Vablet ID with simply your company name. And then the registration key can be some sort of password formula that you may use within your company to authorize for online accounts. You want to make it somewhat simple. You'll be distributing it to your device users, but you also want to make it secure because you don't want just any device user being able to add themselves to your online account and access your information. So once you log in, this is essentially the admin console. The navigation runs along the left-hand side. These are all the options that you have in working with your account. This is a quick orientation video, so we're just going to be focusing on uploading media. You'll see 4 options across the top here. You can essentially launch the uploader and search for a file on your computer hard drive. That's the uploader. Or you can enter in a URL, which will display from the Vablet app on your device. Same thing with video embed code. You can enter in the embed code from a YouTube video, and it will play directly from within your Vablet app as long as you have access to the internet. But since uploading from the computer is probably the most common use case, we'll take a look at that process here. Launch the uploader and you'll be allowed to navigate the file system on your computer to find your media files. We're going to build a playlist of JPEG images and video, so we'll grab these 3 files here. Even after you begin the upload, you can go back into your computer hard drive and select additional files, and they'll just line up in this white box right here. And then you can see the progress of each file and the entire lot within this box. Once the upload is complete, the white box will disappear. And then we're going to give you the chance to enable certain settings and permissions on each file before you save them to your account on the console. We'll go into more detail on all the settings and permissions in subsequent videos, but here's a few important tips. Create a folder name that may be consistent with the type of playlist you're planning to build. Secondly, you may have devices in your network that are designated for particular shops or for particular trade shows, etc. So you can automatically filter these files according to groups of devices too, knowing that you're going to be pushing them to those devices later. You'll see how this will come in handy in later steps. And keep in mind, if you simply hover over the blue question mark symbol throughout the entire admin console, you'll get a brief note that explains the purpose of that setting. So that'll help guide you through the process, whether you're refreshing your memory or whether you're learning this for the first time. Now you can either save it to your media library and push it out to devices later, or you can save and push from here. Well, in this instance, we want to build our playlist before we push it out to the devices. If your media was one video file or one JPEG sign, then you could proceed to push, but we'll just save the media to the media library for now. Next step, time to build our playlist. This screen shows you all of the playlists that can run according to the schedule or the devices that you set. But let's start from scratch. Click Create New Playlist. Enter a name of the playlist that is pertinent to where it will run, or the purpose. Now, here again, we offer a bunch of settings and features for you to consider. Remember, just hover over the blue question mark for more information. The important thing on the playlist settings is really the runtime. Since we're testing a new playlist, we want to make sure that the runtime is consistent with the current time of day that we're actually running the test. Otherwise, nothing will display when we launch the Signage app to test the playtime. Then you can go back into these settings and change the run schedule according to your shop hours or the date range of a trade show or event, etc. Now we'll go back to edit the playlist by adding our media. Here's the new playlist that we just created, and if we want to edit the runtime or other settings, then you click the pencil. To edit or add media, click the media icon. This displays all of the files uploaded to your account, and this is where the folder system comes in handy that I mentioned earlier. As you can see, we have a lot of files on our account, but remember, we put our playlist media files in a folder when we uploaded them. You might be more specific and create a folder for product lines or geographic regions or promotional seasons as an example. This filter feature helps you find the media quickly. Simply click a file to select and Control or Command click to select multiple files, then click the Add button in the middle. So our playlist appears here on the right. And don't forget, just a quick hover over the icon is going to give you a preview of that file. Make sure you've got the right files in place. Yep, these are the ones we want. Next, we want to put them into a particular play order. So click Enable Sorting, and then simply drag the files into the order that you want them to run in. Now here's another important tip. It's best to lead your playlist with a JPEG file if you plan to run video. That way, when the app launches, a JPEG file will load almost instantly, while the video file, presumably larger, will take longer to load. The default playtime for a single JPEG is 10 seconds, so that's plenty of time to queue up a, say, 15 or 20 megabyte video file. We dropped in a JPEG image here about the show that will run, so we'll see how this looks when we move to the device next. But of course, first we need to add a device to our account. So we need to go back to our main nav bar and click on Device and Device Library. And this screen will display all the devices that have been authorized to access content on your account, or all devices that you plan to push file or content to on your account. Well, we're here to walk through the process of adding a new device. So simply click on Invite New Device. And essentially what we're going to do is generate an email that will send the necessary information to that device user that they need in order to authorize their device to the account. They'll need to open that email on their device, and then there will be links within that email that will tie their device to your account. If your device is strictly used for display and not being used by a sales rep or a member of your team, then you can use the first name and the last name to mark the location of the device, such as a shop city or a wall location or a trade show kiosk, for example. The email field is super important though. If you plan to take advantage of lead generation options that we have, then this email address will be referenced for interactive media with customers. Those are features and options that are covered in other videos. And remember, the registration key is the password that we created when we created the account overall, which needs to be entered on every device that is tied to your account and will be receiving the media to display. And then if you already have a group of devices on your account that are strictly for playlists or strictly for display, then you can create a group and then automatically designate that particular device to that group, which is pretty cool. Now, if you're adding multiple devices at once, we're not going to make you fill in this field 100 different times. You want to click this link up above here, Invitation Importer. That's going to enable you to upload an Excel spreadsheet with all of the fields that are on this single invitation. And then all of the individuals entered on that Excel spreadsheet will receive the same email invitation and all the proper links, and they'll be able to add themselves from their device. So we're on our final step, pushing it out to the device. We'll go back to our main nav bar and push or remove playlist. And from here, you can work from the playlist standpoint, or you can work from the device standpoint. We're going to work from playlist. So let's go ahead and select the playlist we've been building. Now you can push it to a single device, or you can remove it from a device, or you can push it to a group of devices that you've already established. Remember, we had established a group of devices for trade shows. And here you can see which devices currently have this playlist running. So you can select to remove or add individual devices in addition to the group as other options. But let's jump over to the iPad and watch the playlist load. When you launch the app for the first time, you're going to get this registration prompt. The first field for organization is optional, as it's really only pertinent to accounts hosted on premises. So we'll tap to continue, and the individual device registration will appear. This is the information that we created during account setup to authorize devices to your account. If you download the app by clicking a link in an email invitation, then the registration key will be automatically populated for you. You might be the administrator, so simply enter in the information that you created when you set up the account. Now the splash page will briefly appear, and then voila, here comes our first image. And remember, there's a 10-second default run with a dissolve transition, and as you can see, we added a second JPEG strictly for amusement. But the video is uploading behind the scenes and will play right on cue. And one more important tip before I go. If you're running signage at an interactive event, then you can interrupt the media to access the vablet file system in the background. Simply tap the screen with 3 fingers and your folder system will show. And now you can bring up a pricing sheet or a research document, etc., to continue the sales pitch with a prospect that's visiting your trade show booth or your showroom or another sort of promotional event. Once you are finished interacting with alternate files and you leave the screen alone for a matter of a minute, then Signage will resume playback of your playlist automatically right around where you left off. And that's it. I told you I'd have you up and running in minutes. It's that simple for running a really simple playlist. Of course, there are many different strategies to running a digital media campaign. For example, you may want to line up several different playlists throughout a 24-hour period, or you could alternate different playlists from day to day, or several different playlists for a 2-hour event. Lots of options, and don't forget about the analytics of all run times, which are available in reports on the console. Contact one of our product specialists for a live online webinar for these additional details. But download the app today, and you're going to have a sexy new high-definition, high-resolution digital media campaign in minutes.